Hello everyone, this is Ofrutra. So, second episode. I'll be honest, I didn't think I'd actually make it. I mean, good lord, how long has it been since I even made the last one? 7 months. By the time I finish this one, it might have been a year. I'm not even gonna try to defend myself on that one and just say that I'm clearly not trying to do this full time. In case you missed it, this is actually part 2 of a small series dedicated to rewriting Dragon Ball Super with a small set of changes that I thought would have made for a better show. Because that's the type of petulant fanboy that I am. I want to get into this a little bit faster than last time, but just so we're all on the same page, here's a brief rundown of the 3 big changes that we'll be working with. Number 1, the Super Saiyan God form stays as the Ultimate Saiyan form. Simply put, I thought the God form was awesome, and the blue form was kinda lame. There's so much more potential in the God form to tell a new, interesting story with Goku, so that's what we're going for. Number 2, the role of the Omni King doesn't exist. Zeno was alright, but the writers got so lazy with him, and I really thought the world was more interesting without him. I feel like he hinders the potential of what can really be done, since he can just turn it off at any point. And number 3, completely rework the handling of Gohan and Videl. They're my favorite characters, Super did them dirty. I can't take that lying down. Also, I want to address a couple of things up front. I feel like this should go without saying, but everything here is opinion-based. While I was disappointed with the series, I'm not trying to say that what I'm making here is objectively better. Just better for me specifically. That's why it's a self-indulgent project. If you did like Super, awesome! I'm glad you did. I hope you still find all this interesting, at least. Also, I recognize that I'm working with the benefit of hindsight. It's really easy for me to trash talk on something that's already finished, but they were making it from scratch and were on a rushed production schedule. Again, I don't want to imply that I know better than a studio that's making billions of dollars. Okay? Okay, now we start our new story. And of course, it all begins with Dragon Ball Z Battle of Gods. We're mostly going to be looking at the movie's presentation of the story rather than the anime's adaptation, because I think it's better in pretty much every way. That mostly means we won't be having that ridiculous scene of Goku and Beerus nearly destroying the universe in their battle. Look, I know Dragon Ball is big numbers, but that scene just felt desperate to me. And it didn't even make sense. Think about it. If that nearly destroyed the universe, why didn't this? Everyone in this picture is fighting at a higher level than they did here. So, yeah. Now when it comes to changes, there really aren't very many to make here. Obviously, Zeno isn't in the story yet, but how do we address the God form and Gohan and Videl? Well, I have an idea. The Super Saiyan God ritual. Now originally it was just a one and done trick, and it kind of left me confused, to be honest. I remember watching the movie in the theaters and I just thought to myself, so they're just gonna take a free day and give each other the form, right? No reason not to, since Goku got a massive power boost just from being in the form, but I guess they didn't. Later on in the show, Goku even confirms that Vegeta got the form himself by training with Whis. Somehow. I think there's more that can be done with the ritual itself. And it'll help me justify some of the more outlandish ideas I have down the line. Here's what I got. Shenron explains how the ritual works, like he did in the movie. But there's an extra caveat this time. A Saiyan can only take part in the ritual once in their entire lives, regardless of whether they're the recipient or just a participant. This makes the decision of who gets the power harder for Vegeta to take, but he has to admit that Goku is the best one to try and stop Beerus. However, while Goku receives the power and transforms, something unexpected happens to everyone else. You remember how everyone had a visual reaction when their energy changed? What if that actually did something? This time, each character experiences a unique change, a boost if you will, when that divine energy sparks inside of them. Something that'll serve as a goal for that character through the rest of the series. Let's start with Vegeta. Although he acquiesced and agreed to let Kakarot attain the god form, we all know he really, really wanted it for himself. That desire for it puts him ever so slightly closer to it than the others. Because of that, when the divine spark ignites in him, he immediately connects to that power, and he feels it flow from him to Kakarot's. While he can't get a firm read on the god form's power, he has a stronger connection to it than the others. He remembers the energy signature, and he can still feel its presence inside of him. Despite what Shenron said, and even if he can't explain it, he somehow knows that he can now get that divine energy for himself. He just has to find it. Next up is Gohan, who, I gotta be honest, kinda gets the most boring results. Essentially, I'm using it to give him back the ultimate form. Now I know what you're thinking. He could already use that form in the movie. And yes, he could. But that raises a few extra questions. Alright, Nekko's here. Alright, back to it. How could he do that after 4 years of presumably little to no training, but then 9 months after this, he can barely push Super Saiyan? I think the reason for this is because Battle of Gods was a reunion tour. They wanted to show everyone their favorite characters doing the thing they did 17 years ago. And that's fine. I loved it. But it has created a bit of a continuity error? Is that too harsh a word? That's what I'm gonna go with. So let's say for this series, Gohan lost the ability to do that at some point in the 4 years between fighting Buu and here. But why? I know a lot of us assumed it was something Gohan couldn't lose, like it was a part of him now. Well, maybe it has something to do with its other name, Unlocked Potential. It was given to him before, but Gohan walked away from his potential as a fighter, and because of that, the power sealed itself away from him. Now, the ritual is giving him a chance to get it back. Just like Vegeta, even if he can't explain why, he can feel something has changed, and he can get that special power back. It may be the same thing he had before, so it's a little less exciting, but the ultimate form was always a bit of an enigma. Depending on your source, some say it was even stronger than Goku in Super Saiyan 3. Gohan doesn't really need other forms. This one was something unique to him, and it just needed a little expanding upon. And now he's getting it back. Not immediately, of course. He has a baby on the way, and Gohan knows his priorities. And even after that, he's gonna have to work for it. But that old fire is reignited in him, and we'll see that take effect soon. Now for Videl, who arguably gets the most dramatic effect out of everyone. For starters, she gains the ability to sense ki. In case that sounds ridiculous to you, may I remind you Goku only got that ability after he drank the Ultra Divine Water. He didn't learn how to do that either. This leaves a big impact on Videl. Rather than just seeing the feats of strength that her friends are capable of, now she can feel deep down just how powerful they are. And she can truly comprehend the gap in strength between herself and the people around her. Gohan taught her about ki control, so she knows the basics, but her understanding of the concept just exploded. She can tell the difference in each person's energy signature, what it feels like when they're angry or calm, the vast quantities of ki they all have. However, as we know, Videl isn't one to be intimidated when she learns about a new trick. And her boost from the ritual doesn't stop there. Like the others, something in her has changed, and she feels like she can get stronger again. After Pan is born, of course, again, priorities, but her desire to train is back, full force. She is a martial artist after all. As for Goten and Trunks, I don't know. The show had absolutely nothing for them to do. I'm sorry, I love the boys, but I have got nothing to work with here. In another timeline, perhaps, they added more to the show, but nothing. Maybe one day it'll be their turn, but for now, sorry boys. That's really it as far as changes during Battle of Gods are concerned. Although I should mention what happens to Goku. During his fight with Beerus, we saw Goku express his disappointment in getting the God form. Like he said, he had to be given the power where he spent his entire life training to earn power. Now there's a level he'll never be able to reach on his own. Or so he thinks. Because of course at the end of the fight, he manages to push himself back into the form, only for a second. Well, that second is going to serve as Goku's driving force for the rest of the series. In that moment, he realizes it's attainable. He can make that power all his own. He'll have to work for it, of course, but that only makes Goku happier. Some might say he wouldn't need to get the form back because Beerus said he retained the power, which some people interpreted as meaning that the God form was basically his new base form. But come on, that's so anticlimactic. Also, he wouldn't have needed to go back into the form to stop Beerus' attack. Nah, Goku needs the form itself to get its full power, and he's going to get it. Eventually. Stop it, you. And that's the end of Battle of Gods, which I think is where we're gonna call it for this one. I was hoping to get this and Resurrection F in the same video, but that ended up looking to be way too long, and I really didn't want to send people running away from a 20-minute video. The good news is the next script is already finished, so hopefully I'll have that one done much sooner than this one. Anyway, what did you think? Anything you're looking forward to seeing more of? Anything you feel was a bit of a misstep? Please let me know. I still can't believe I actually did this. Thank you all so much for watching, and take care.